Hello. Welcome back. Happy Halloween. I am the Boogeyman. Do you want to hear a story? I bring you tales from the Boogey world. I bring you tales to help send you off to sleep. Come, sleep. Let me help you. Now, before I tell you a tale, the last tale of the season, I will guide you through a short meditation to relax your body and prepare you for a night of dreams or nightmares. Would you like that? Good. Make sure you finish off any other tasks before we begin. Use the bathroom, drink a glass of water, check under your bed. Make sure that there is no other reason to leave your comfort before we enter absolute comfort. You may pause this podcast here and resume when you're back. Are you ready? Lay down, sweet friend. Lay on your bed, on your floor. No harsh textures around you. Only soft, only gentle. Let's breathe together. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Close your eyes for me. Push away the tension in your eyebrows. You can use both of your hands or just the one. But be gentle with yourself. Release that tension. Let it go. No need to frown now. Let the calm wash over your face. Unclench your jaw. Rest your eyelids and your tongue. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Roll your shoulders all the way back. Allow yourself to melt deep into the mattress. As you release your shoulders into your bed, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let go of all the tension in your body. In your shoulders, in your neck, your hips, your legs, toes, fingers. Surrender your body to sleep. Come, join me in the Boogey world. Let me tell you a tale, a very special tale. In fact, this is a Halloween special, so grab a hot chocolate and tuck in. This story is called The Samhain Curse, the Halloween special. Like clockwork, every Halloween, the Samhain curse comes to fruition. The veil between worlds is thin and, if strong and summoned, visitors may pass through to the human realm. Nightmare creatures and demons come to haunt and taunt. Watch and observe as the humans finally relish in the spirit of dreams and nightmares. Some cross with malice, and some with curiosity, but none cross for love or good wishes. This story starts with a black candle, a virgin, a forest, and an accidental sacrifice. Not too deep into the forest, at an old well, a group of young teenage friends in silly costumes come to play. They are about 13 now. So they've agreed amongst themselves that they're too old to trick or treat. So they've come to look for a different kind of thrill. One of the children have brought with them a black candle and half a photograph of an ex-boyfriend. She declares that they will perform a hex, though she's not entirely sure on how to do that.
Ugh, come on, Emily. That's boring anyway. What was so bad about him?
Ugh, he dumped me. Yeah, he goes to another school. That was never going to work. He dumped me, okay? So he has to pay.
We should be doing a seance or talking to the dead.
The boy dressed as a skeleton sits on the floor, crossing his legs and raises his arms and declares,
If there are any spirits here, make yourself known.
Talking to the dead?
Another boy, this one dressed as the devil himself, says, in an effort to outdo his friend,
Talk to the dead? We should be raising the dead.
The boys all buzz with excitement now. They're all in. The girls favour it too, although Emily feels a little betrayed as to not get her hex. She lays the half of a photograph with her first love at the edge of the brick well. If they weren't going to hex it, then she didn't want it. She joins her friends, who are all sat in a circle now. Altogether, in this group, there are 4 boys and 3 girls. I don't suppose that all of their names are important. But if you really must know, they are Emily, Jem, Sophie, Craig, Joe, Aidan, and Kurt. Ages 12, with Sophie being the youngest, through to 15, with Kurt being the oldest, who happens to be Aidan's older brother. Now, the individualism of all these characters do not really matter because I do not really care. A couple of these children may stick out though. Kurt places the black candle in the middle of the circle. He says they need to make an offering to make it work. None of them know what they're doing. And on a normal night, it probably wouldn't work. In fact, it wouldn't work at all. But tonight is just the night that it might. Sophie offers a pumpkin, with a horrid face carved in. Jem takes off the scarf wrapped around her. She quietly wants to show off her cat costume. Joe throws in a long grain jacket his mother made him take with him, and Aidan throws in cotton candy, and Kurt finishes with a few sweets of his own before standing to light the candle. He spots the photograph on the edge of the well, and he throws that in too, declaring it as an offering from Emily. Emily is slightly annoyed, but then she smirks, glad to finally have her hex in a roundabout way. Also, she quietly has a crush on Kurt, but she's much too shy to say it. Kurt sits back down, and all holding hands now, they chant for a while. The chanting is nonsense and doesn't mean anything, and has no direction, but eventually they land on, "Come to us, pumpkin man, take these offerings. Bring your friends, we invoke you. Take these sacrifices, we offer them to you." And then a fire erupts around the candle, a perfect ring of fire around them too. They are so scared. All offerings appear to disappear in hellfire. They scream, but they cannot leave. They can wet themselves, though. The eye of the fire collapses the ground and a creature climbs out. A creature with a pumpkin for a head. He has no flesh body, but old bones. His cursed eyes glow, and when he stands finally, he laughs. And he picks up the rain jacket and scarf, slightly burned now, and he wears them. He thanks the children by tipping his pumpkin head to them, clean off his bony neck, and then he raises his arms and raises the dead. Ghosts appear around them. From beyond the ring of fire surrounding them, they are sluggish and tired like zombies, but see-through. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them altogether. 8, if you count the pumpkin man. The ring of fire collapses and the tweens, all with piss in their costumes, run away crying. Pumpkinhead laughs as they cry. The children run to the closest house to the forest. They bang on the door, but no one answers. They run again. When they turn, they see that the ghosts quietly and slowly are following them. Eventually, they run through an old metal gate that says welcome over it. The trees beyond the gate are black and twisted, but they see a large house or a mansion in the back. The lights are on, colored lights, so someone must be home. Running through from the gate to the mansion seemed to take longer than they'd initially thought it would. They kept running and running. It felt like the black, twisted trees were watching them. When they reached the door, they banged and screamed and pleaded, "Please, please, let us in. They're going to catch us." No immediate response. And whilst they knocked and cried and hit the knocker, Kurt noticed a small building. Not a building, a crypt, and a small cemetery to the side of the mansion. This made him feel uneasy. The door creaked open, slowly, and the children got quiet. "Hello?" Sophie offered up slowly.
Get in! Get in!
Kurt yelled after waiting a long 10 seconds. They got in and shut the door behind them. The house was dark now. All the lights that seemed to be on from the outside were off now, and the front door was locked. They could not see a thing. Pitch black, and calling out to the homeowner to come out and help, but no answer. They had found themselves walking up a staircase in the dark, feeling their way up. They walk into a doorway, all holding on to each other. One of the boys reaches out their arm to feel for a light switch on the wall. He finds one. Lights on, they see that they are in a long corridor. Grey walls, a rug beneath them, and many doors. They try to feel some relief, release their chests and breathe. They are safe now, they are okay. The door behind them slams shut, and the lights dim and flicker. They can't go back, they must go forward. They must choose a door. Now, whilst these children stand in fear, weighing their options, the Pumpkinhead man and his 7 friends are out causing havoc. They're not chasing the children. They were leading them to the Boogey Mansion, my home, as a barter for their night of freedom. The children didn't seem to understand that this is what they had agreed to when they brought about the curse. They also didn't seem to understand that they'd crossed into the Boogey world, and that they would not be allowed to leave until the curse was over. The pumpkin-headed man had a sacrifice to collect. Emily's first boyfriend. Typically, this sacrifice should be offered in person, but the Samhain curse allows for some rule bending, and this sacrifice was for collection only. Unfortunately for the Pumpkinhead man, he could not find him. He was not in this town. He had no idea where he was, but he knew exactly who would know. Back at the Boogey house, where I may have played my silly little tricks, turning lights on and off and shutting doors, I decided to have a little more fun. They'd come right in without saying trick or treat. You couldn't possibly think I'd have given them treats after that. It's Halloween after all. After they cried and held each other for maybe 10 minutes, they finally braved getting up off the floor and walked towards a room. Sophie cowering at the back, the most scared to move. I felt a little bit bad about the shaking and the raw fear that they were experiencing. So that first room, when they entered, became a fairground. Yay! This was the fairground that the Sandman had visited with his lover, and now visits mostly without her. The children were still very cautious, and snot still dribbling down their faces. I guess they were confused as to how they got there, instead of enjoying the embrace of a dream. You really mustn't invite fear into a dream, you know. Unless you want to nightmare, which I don't mind either way. They didn't climb aboard any of the rides. The colourful, flashing lights were on, prizes to be won, funfair food to be eaten, and all they did was walk very, very slowly through. Very boring. So I threw a ghost in there. A Halloween ghost. They screamed again and they cried, and then Kurt and Aiden made an attempt to fight the ghost, which made me laugh very hard. When they ripped the sheet off, the ghost was gone. That was just a silly trick anyway. They dipped under an archway with a long curtain, and now they were on stage! My grand theatre! Here, they all became paper dolls, 2D and with and without string. They flailed about, and I think this is about when they began to accept that they were in a dream. Which, by the way, is not necessarily true. They were awake in the Boogey world, but it makes the experience easier for them to understand, I suppose. Anyway, there they were, playing out their earlier story, but as paper dolls. I want to hex my ex. No, 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 sang the girls. The boys sang and chanted in a circle, and the girls soon joined in. They called for the Pumpkin Man.
Come to us, Pumpkinhead. Take these offerings. Bring your friends, we invoke you. Take these sacrifices, we offer them to you.
They reenacted their call to the Pumpkin Man in sing-song form. The Pumpkin Man who, surprisingly to me, appeared. Well, hello, Pumpkin. The children had become scared again and left their paper forms back into snivelling children. Why on earth was he here? He should be out enjoying havoc. Why come back to the Boogey world early? For these children. He pointed his bony finger right at Emily, whose knees were failing her now, and she fell to the floor, so scared and pissing herself again. Her friends surrounded her, even tighter. They held on.
Where is he?
He asked, unfazed by the snot and the piss and resistance.
Where is who?
Kurt yelled. voice cracking beneath. Pumpkinhead raised his hand to reveal half a photograph, ripped down the middle of a young teenage boy.
Him? You want Hugh?
Emily cried.
What do you want with him?
This confused Pumpkin.
Collect my bounty.
Why do you even have that?
Emily stood up, knees still shaking.
Leave him alone. You can't have him.
You offered him as a sacrifice.
I never.
This all felt very dramatic on my grand theatre stage, so I watched from the audience and ate popcorn. Pumpkin started to get angry. This was his freedom they were playing with. He was never usually angry. He usually was a lot of fun, especially on Halloween. But he wanted his sacrifice. It's a very important part of the curse, and he felt like he was being bamboozled and tricked. Emily was the only person who knew anything about this. You know, Hugh boy. This boy in the photograph that she claimed to have loved once. Her first boyfriend. The heartbreak she wanted to hex.
Where is he?
Pumpkin shouted. He never shouts like this.
Emily, please just tell him.
Sophie pleaded.
It's okay, Em. It's not your fault. Just tell him, okay? You'd save us all.
Kurt softly holds her shoulders. He's desperate and he's scared, and Emily is too scared to look him in the eye. She whispers,
I don't know.
Emily?
Yeah. Come on, Emily.
Come on, Emily.
I don't know.
she whispers again, this time a little bit louder.
Please, Emily, just tell us.
Kurt begs, a little bit softer than the others.
I don't know him. I never.
Everyone got quiet for this one.
I just didn't want to be a loser anymore.
You made up a boyfriend?
Jam was visibly frustrated.
I took a photo of a page in a magazine. This guy was just, and I printed it out and I brought it to school and
She started weeping in absolute teen shame.
Where is my sacrifice?
Pumpkinhead, now so fed up with this whole kerfuffle, breaks the childish weeping with his demand.
There isn't one. We don't have one. We didn't have one. We were only playing. We're kids.
Kurt was trying his best to take the lead, the oldest of the bunch.
Then who do I take?
I lean in, popcorn hot and salty and sweet in my mouth. Who will they offer now?
No one?
Kurt answers, so exhausted.
Can't you just stop now?
Pumpkinhead, in complete disbelief, turns to look at me. And then they all turn to look at me. The children hadn't noticed me sitting there until now in the audience. I stand up and I brush the crumbs off my lap and dust my palms. Welcome to the Boogey World, I tease. All these guests and not one of you have said trick or treat.
My sacrifice, Boogeyman.
Pumpkinhead pleads with me now. Oh, baby. It appears that they've no right to offer up that soul. They lay no claim to whoever is in that image. I touched my chin for dramatic effect. This is very unfortunate, Pumpkin, my love. You can rightly return to the Boogey World with your 7 ghosts, sending the children back, seeing as your curse is incomplete. Or the children can stay here and your ghosts can stay wherever they are and you can return by yourself. Or the children can offer you a new deal.
New deal.
He turns back to the children, who are not at all mentally prepared for any of this.
We're not gonna give you anyone.
Soul for soul, you suffer vengeance.
We don't have anyone to give.
7 of you here?
Please no.
They all turn back to me again. And I get bored of all of their indecisive behavior, and I make a choice for them. You can choose one, and if they agree, you can swap. And the 7 ghosts must also return. Pumpkin wastes absolutely no time and he points at Emily. Emily cries and Kurt, being the hero, offers himself in her place. What a hero. Pumpkin says yes. And I say, oops, that's not how it works. Back you all go. And I bring back the ghosts and I send the children back to the gate, which, when they cross, they return back to the edge of the forest, no longer able to see the entrance to the Boogey house. Pumpkin is angry with me, but then I offer him some sweet treats and a cheeky smile, and soon I'm back in his good books. I invite over some familiar friends. A boogeyman, the sandman, the mare, batibat, pooka, illicabra, the wendigo. And we have a Halloween party of our own. Which brings us here, in the aftermath of Halloween, retelling this tale to you, my friends. The children, if you're wondering, are traumatized, I cannot lie. They will soon grow up, and Emily will have a first love. It will not be Kurt. The children won't stay in touch as they grow, besides the 2 brothers who will drift apart too, in their own time. Halloween is no longer a favourite time of the year for them. A couple of them will move towards God, and a couple will move towards other vices. All in all, they will heal in time, careful to never play with things that they do not understand. The news the next morning told stories of terrorists using holographs of ghosts and a man wearing a pumpkin on his head, causing chaos, setting fires and ruining property. Wanted, wanted, if you see these people. No CCTV though. All badly drawn depictions, not seriously taken for what it was. So, if you choose to bring about a curse on Halloween of all nights, please know the consequences. And be sure of what you're asking for. Only sacrifice what you are willing to sacrifice. You may not be as lucky as these children were to come out alive. I hope that you've had a beautiful time. Not just tonight, but for this season of tales. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for listening to this tale. It's an honest story from some friends of mine in the Boogey world. I hope it will help you to better understand us. This podcast is brought to you by the Boogey World Podcast Production Network and is sponsored by peptoabysmal.co.uk, the pink and baggy 90s 2000s nostalgia t-shirt brand. Visit linktr.ee/theboogeyworld for all things BOOGEYWORLD, including links to the website, other podcasts, events, and more. All links will be included in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow, and share. I hope you're resting now, sweet friend. I appreciate story time with you so much. I hope you'll meet me in the Boogey World now. We can meet at the Boogey Mansion if you'd like. Dreams, sweet dreams, or a thrilling nightmare. It's up to you where we go. Goodbye for now. See you soon.